This is the most difficult celebrity I've ever worked with after doing makeup and hair for more than 3 years. Story time. So let's track back a little. I do makeup, hair, and I also have a bridal studio. So for my bridal studio, this client came in to book robes, bridal robes. 1 luxury robe and 4 robes for her bridesmaids. Everything was fine. She came through to see the robes to see if she liked them, of which she did. She really liked them. She mentioned some shops that she had been to and their robes didn't look half as good as mine. So she said she's definitely getting my robes. She was really, really impressed with how they looked. So for that day, that's all we talked about. She got the robes. No, rather, she didn't get the robes, but she signed the contract. However, when she was coming, she told me a few minutes before she was already there, because I operate from home. So she told me a few minutes before she got home that she's coming to my bridal studio to check out everything. So I had no time to even tell her she had to come with a copy of her ID, be it a license, NRC, or even a passport. So when she got there, she didn't bring those things. But then it was fine with me because I give out my stuff on Wednesdays. So no matter when you book them, I will deliver the things or you pick them up the Wednesday before your event. I think she's a well-known celebrity on Facebook. I don't know about other platforms, but she's well-known. But for security of her and her privacy, I will not be mentioning her names. She didn't come with any form of identification, but then that was fine with me because she wasn't picking up the robes that day. So we agreed that she would bring her form of identification the day she was going to pick up the robes. That was fine with me. That's what we agreed on. So fast forward to about 3 to 4 days later, she texts me to say, do I know any makeup artists in Lusaka? Because apparently she's not from here. So she's not yet conversant with the area and she doesn't know many people. So she wanted me to recommend someone. So I told her I actually do both makeup and hair because she was looking for a makeup artist and a hairstylist. So I sent her my work. She liked it and she said she would like to book for her makeup and hair for her wedding day, of which she did book and she sent in her deposit. So her booking was confirmed. So initially she was thinking her bridesmaids, she mentioned that her bridesmaid might want to do their hair with me, but then she would confirm with them because the ladies were being a bit picky, according to her own words. After a few days, she called me. This is a Thursday actually before her wedding. Her wedding was supposed to be on Saturday. She calls me and then she tells me the bridesmaids are going to do their hair with me. So this was a very late booking. So I told them power would connect at my place at 14. So they can come through at 14 and then we'll get their hair done. Bear in mind, she sent me an inspo of what they wanted. This inspo was my previous work. So that's what she wanted me to do with their hair. So this conversation, we had it on Thursday morning. Thursday night, she calls me again to say she doesn't have a wig that she's going to use for her wedding day. And she wanted me to help her look for a wig. So I tried to recommend the few famous shops that sell already made wigs that I know around Lusaka. But then she said she didn't want something too expensive because it was just to be used for the day of. And then she didn't know all these places I was recommending to her because again, she's new in Lusaka. So since she was new in Lusaka, I told her it's fine. I would help her. We could go together in Kamala and then I would help her look for a wig. Then we would find someone to make it. On that day, I couldn't make it because I had other bookings aside hers and her bridesmaids. So I told her I could help her find the wig since I myself was going to Kamala that day to look for stock and other wigs for the same hairstyles that her bridesmaids had requested. Since it was late, I had to go do those things Friday morning because I told them to come at 14. So we agreed we'd meet on Friday. So I told her I wouldn't attend my sister's graduation. I would only go for the photo shoot. So we said at 9, we would meet so that I can buy her hair and would have enough time for her hair to be made, for her wig to be made rather. The agreed time was 9 hours. So Friday at 9, I get to Kamala. Actually, before I started off, I tried to call her several times. The calls went unanswered. My messages were not responded to. So, but then there were other things I was doing in Kamala as well. I decided, let me just go there. When she picks up, we'd then meet. I would already be there. And I was really being very understanding because I was feeling sorry for the fact that she didn't know Lusaka very well. And being a bride comes with so much pressure because I'm constantly dealing with brides. So I just, said I would help out look for the wig. Bear in mind, I wasn't charging for this service. The agreement was she would just pay me for her usual appointment. So I was just helping out. At 11, my calls have not been answered. I'm still in Kamala waiting. I've done what I went there for, aside helping her get the wig. So my thought is she's probably booked with someone else, but maybe she's too, I don't know, shy to say because she had already booked with me. So I assume maybe the booking has been cancelled or something. I go to my sister's graduation because I promised to attend her photo shoot session. At 12, I received a message from the bride that had booked saying she needed to come pick up the robes. Bear in mind, I had sent other messages and other phone calls. Those messages were not responded to. So automatically I assumed probably this booking is cancelled because she's seen all these other messages, but she only sent this one and said she's coming to pick up the robes. I assumed this booking was cancelled. So I had to go back to Kamwala. I think I was picking something up. So it's 16. I'm in Kamwala picking something up, something totally different because I consider this booking not happening at all, seeing how everything was going. So I wanted to book with someone else because there was someone who was telling me if I at all had a slot at any point, I should let them know. So I thought it would be mean because I wasn't sure if she was just being busy or she didn't want to book at all or she had changed her mind. So when signing the contract, her next of kin was her fiancé. So I said, since she's not a Lusaka bride, I felt compelled to let her know that I'm going to cancel her booking because that was my last resort at that point. I was willing to send back the deposit and cancel the booking and then book with someone else. So I call her soon-to-be husband. At this point, it's 16 and someone else wants to book. I call him. It's a very brief call. I apologize for calling him because I understand he wasn't the best person to talk to. But then I didn't want to cancel on her just like that because I felt like she's new to Lusaka. She probably would be too stranded. This is Friday, the day before her wedding. So I tell the groom to say, I've been trying to reach her, but then she hasn't responded to any of my messages, but she said she's coming to pick up the robes. So I assumed that her booking, it said that she's booked with someone else, so she's no longer interested. I don't know. But then I was trying to inform him that I'm cancelling the booking. So the husband, or the soon-to-be husband at this point, says, please don't cancel with her. You're the only one that she has booked with. There's no one else. He also tells me that he's going to tell her to call me as soon as possible. A few minutes later, I receive a call from Actually, I received a message. So this message says, why are you calling my man? So I tried to explain to her that I had no hidden agendas and I apologized immediately for calling her husband, and I did apologize to him as well. Immediately I called him, but I had no other options. I didn't want to cancel on you without you knowing because I'm not that type of makeup artist that will just not show up on you on the actual day of your event rather. So I just wanted to let him know that I'm going to cancel your booking because 14 had passed, which was the time we had agreed to meet with her bridesmaids. She wasn't responding to any of my messages, yada, yada, yada. So she told me, no, you are wrong for calling my man. You should be communicating with me. I tried to explain you were not reachable. Like I couldn't reach you at any point. And when you responded to my message, you only talked about the robes. After that, she still went mute on me. She tells me how she was unhappy that I texted or rather called her husband and everything. So I told her, but you stood me up and I just didn't want to cancel on you. So she told me, no, I didn't stand you up. At 11, you said you were going for the graduation. So I thought the program was done. So I actually told her, but we agreed for 9 hours. So she was like, no, I was just a few minutes late. So at 11, I thought it was cancelled. So I was like, I don't know if she just didn't get it that she was 3 hours late, but then according to her, she wasn't very late. I should have waited longer. And also she decided not to get back because I had told her I was already going for the graduation. Bear in mind, I said this at 11. That's like 2 hours, 2 from the time that we had agreed to meet. I had to attend it, and that's what we had agreed initially. I told her I would be busy at some point because I had to attend my sister's graduation photo shoot. So that passes. She says, no, it's fine. I apologized again. I was like, I'm sorry if that offended you, but I thought that was my last resort. I wouldn't have done it if you had picked your phone. I didn't want to just not show up on the day of your event. So she's like, okay, fine. Let me pick you up now, so that we go to my place and do the bridesmaids' hair. Her bridesmaids had an appointment with me at 14. At 18, I was supposed to have another client. So I couldn't leave home, and that was not the agreement. So I told her, I can't follow you, but you have to follow me. And the only reason why I still gave them chances because at some point my client that was scheduled for 18 said she was running late and if I could give her some more time. So I told her she had an emergency actually. So I told her, no, it's fine, I'll wait. So I wanted to use that time to work on her bridesmaids. She tells me, okay, she's just in heavy traffic, she'll bring them. They're about to start off from town, coming to my place. I live in Nivala. So they told me they would be there, they were just in some traffic. So for me, traffic in Osaka, I thought of it like maybe like an hour max because she was near, I think she was near is it Kafue roundabout? Yeah. So I thought an hour, 30 minutes max. So afterwards seemed to be an hour. She called me to say her bridesmaids wouldn't come at the time that she said they would come because they were supposed to have a rehearsal at 19. So she has to pick me up so that we go to her place and I would do their hair from there once their rehearsal is done. Bear in mind, this is not a request. She's telling me my bridesmaids have a rehearsal at 19. I don't know what time they'll be done, so I'm going to come pick you up. You're going to do their hair from my place because I have, I think, a genset or something, so power doesn't go that side. I tell her to say, I'm working with other clients as well. I can't leave my station, and that was not the prior agreement. So they either had to come now or it wouldn't work at all. I was working on 4 people, so that needed some good time. So her response is fine. So I don't know what fine means, if they're going to come or not. I keep quiet because at this point, this appointment is draining me. We've been talking about it for well over 5 days, like going back and forth on certain things. When she says fine, I choose to just sit back and wait. If she shows up, she shows up. If not, still good. A few minutes later, she calls me back. She says her bridesmaids are on their way. She's coming to drop them. So at this point, I'm just like, okay. At this point, I was just saying, okay, because I was really getting tired as well. So I start waiting for her bridesmaids. They show up, and one of them still has her hair braided in cornrows. This is 19 to 20 at this point. So the 4 bridesmaids that I'm expecting finally show up. I think, yeah, they showed up and there were the 4 of them. So one still had her hair braided in cornrows. She starts to remove them immediately, which I have no problem with. Then while I was at the gate, like opening for them to come in, one of them asks me if she can see my work. I have no problem with it. So I give her the details for my page so that she could go through it and see what was there. After that, I just saw her calling the bride to say, is this the same girl who's going to do our hair? So I'm like, I was just a bit shocked because why are you here if you don't know if you're here to do your hair? Yeah. So a few minutes later, while on that call, the bride tells them, no, it's only the 2 girls getting their hair done. Bear in mind, I was told the bridesmaids are 4 and I'm doing hair for all 4. At this point, I've stocked up hair and products for all 4 bridesmaids. But then I'm being told it's only the 2. One was the sister's bride actually, but she was also a bridesmaid. So the sister's bride and the lady who asked me to see my work are not doing their hair with me apparently. So at that point, I was really fed up. I wasn't saying much. I told them, okay, cool, come in. They came in. I started working on the other bridesmaids. I don't want to go into details of how this went, but it was chaotic as well. They were good people, let me say that. They weren't problematic or anything, but they had their own unique personalities. Yeah, just like every other client. They settled down. I'm about to start doing their hair, and then they show me a hairstyle. So this hairstyle is a short ponytail, the one with a blunt cut, and it has a side swoop. Initially, that's not what the bride told me. So I told them, the bride showed me that you're doing this hairstyle. I showed them my previous work of the hairstyle that the bride had requested. Then they said, we didn't even know she had booked an appointment for us. We're actually on our way to install wigs at another salon. We actually have an appointment right now somewhere else. So our yango has just been redirected by her saying we have to go elsewhere for our hair. This is where we are now, but this is the hairstyle we want. So I was like, okay, cool, I can improvise the hair I have, it will look just fine. I start with the hair appointment. The lady that I start with says she doesn't want to perm her hair, so I explained to say a side swoop is very difficult to do with natural hair. Those that do hair can relate. So I tell her that. She says, okay, you can perm the sides but not the middle. If we're going to do a swoop, the middle is equally as important as the sides, because the swoop is going to come from the middle part of your hair going to the sides. So we start working with her, and unfortunately her swoop didn't swoop. Like, it just wasn't looking as good as the other girl's hair, because again, she didn't want to perm it. I couldn't force a client to do what they don't want to their hair, and for me, it's not a must that you perm your hair, but I'll correctly advise you to say your hair will look like this if you do perm it and if you don't. And there are certain hairstyles that can still work without you perming your hair. I tried to advise, but she was hell-bent on doing that hairstyle. It didn't come out right. I couldn't do anything. The swoop wasn't going well, but her friend's hair came out perfect and she was happy. Made appointment of me doing the 2 girls' hair. Bear in mind the other 2 are also here, so I have 4 people in my work studio. 2 are getting their hair done, 2 are just waiting. So they were waiting for the bride to come and pick them up. When picking them up, the bride said she would come pick up the robes as well. So I mentioned to say you needed your ID. So when she got there, she didn't have her ID. So she told me, no, since you're coming to do my makeup tomorrow, you can come and get the ID at home. So I was like, okay, that's still fine, because I was supposed to follow her that day for her appointment. That was early morning. Her wedding was supposed to start at 14. So when she got home, remember she booked for hair and makeup. When she got home to pick up the robes, I noticed her hair was done. She didn't tell me anything that she was getting her hair done, or she didn't say anything anyway. So when I noticed her hair, when she was about to leave, I decided to say something, because I didn't want to show up for an appointment and find someone else working, because at this point it was seeming like she already had someone else to do her services. So I asked her, oh, I've noticed you already have your hair done. Am I still coming for your makeup, or you have someone else? So she goes like, oh yeah, I did my hair, you can just come do my makeup tomorrow. Honestly, I was shocked, and at this point this was a waste of time, because I had rejected other clients. I work on appointment basis, so if you tell me I'm doing your hair, probably there's someone else who I had to let down. I didn't want to argue or anything. I just said, oh okay, because also there were other clients. But at this point I wasn't already happy with how everything was going and how everything was being handled. I felt my time was not being respected at all. So she picks up her stuff. After she leaves, after maybe it seemed like an hour, I'm not sure, because I wasn't checking my time. At this point I was working on the 2 bridesmaids. She calls me to tell me, you're actually doing my bridesmaids makeup as well, because their makeup artist let them down. So I was like, this is very late. At this point I think it's like 22 or maybe 23, I don't remember. So I was like, this is very late. I have other appointments, of which I did that day in the morning before hers, because remember her wedding was at 14. So I had good time between her appointment and my other appointments that I had booked in the morning. So I told her, this is very late. I don't promise to do your bridesmaids makeup. I will try, but I have other people. So she says, okay, that's fine. On the day of the event, I was waiting for her to send the location. I texted her, sent her messages. She never responded. So I had the number for one of the bridesmaids whose hair I did. I asked her, can you send me the location? And then she was like, oh, actually, this person here has already booked another makeup artist. I was very shocked. I didn't show up either, because what am I going to do? The makeup artist had already been booked. So I told her I need the documents for ID. So after her cousin told me she had booked with someone else, I said, okay, fine. Because at this point, honestly, even I wasn't willing to do the appointment anymore, because I felt disrespected. I don't know if it's the fact that I didn't acknowledge her as a celebrity when I first saw her. I treated her like how I would treat any other client. I just said, hi, hello, and we went about the business. So I don't know if that's what offended her, or if it was the fact that when I was about to cancel her appointment, rather, I called her fiancé. I don't know what it is. So when her cousin told me she had found someone else, I was just like, oh, okay. And then I told the cousin, kindly tell her that I need her ID, a form of identification. So I hear her in the background say, Uyona Ngoyo, tell her to come and get it if she wants it. So in English, that means that girl also, tell her to come and get the ID if she wants it. So her cousin responds to her, oh, this is happening while I'm on a call with her. I suspect I was on loudspeaker, because while I was talking to her cousin, she responded as well. So her cousin tells her, she can't come this far. This place is far. You are supposed to give her your ID. And then she tells her, you know what, I'm busy. I'm doing my makeup. That's what she responds. And I know she's hearing me, because at this point, I'm also responding. Then she's responding to what I'm saying. So I just said, you know what, I don't like how you're doing business. This is not how we do business with people. That's all I said. And the call cut. She didn't say anything. In the morning, that was Sunday, she was supposed to return the robes. So before she returned the robes, I get a message Saturday night, like very late at night, saying, you told my cousin I didn't pay for the robes. A little backstory again. after I saw her behavior, I was worried that maybe I might even lose my robes. They might not be returned or something. So I told her cousin to help take care of my robes for me. Like, she should see them for me. If possible, she should be the one to return them, because I didn't like how the bride was behaving. And I thought maybe she wouldn't even return them, or they would lose the robes, or just something would go on with them. So I told the sister or the cousin to take care of them for me. So she said, no, don't worry, I'll take care of them. So at night I received a message saying, you said I didn't pay you for the robes. Why would you do that? Do you think I would do that anyway? I'm going to return your robes tomorrow. So I take a screenshot of that. I send it to her cousin and tell her, at what point did I tell you that your cousin didn't pay for the robes? So the cousin gets shocked and said, what are you talking about? So I was like, your cousin has just sent me a message saying that I told you that she didn't pay for the robes. So she goes like, honestly, I don't know why my cousin is behaving like this. I don't know if it's stress from the whole wedding thing, but I didn't say that, and she's been treating us really badly as well. We apologize on her behalf. She's had a bad, reception with all of us. We really apologize for what's going on. So I send that message back to the bride. She doesn't respond to it. So here are a few other details I forgot to add. On the day of her bringing back the robes, she informed me that the rope for one robe had gone missing. So I told her, if anything goes missing, according to our contract, it had to be replaced by the client. This means either buying the item altogether, that's if it was rented out, or it means she replaces that item. But then when you're buying robes, they don't sell robes separately. So it meant the whole robe had to be replaced. So I told her, no, since you've lost it, it means you have to buy the robe. Don't bring it at all, just buy it. So I told her the price for buying the robe, which was $420. We had agreed this before. Hiring was 80 kwacha, but buying the robe is $420. I told her, then she goes like, no, I received a voice note from her sister. Hey, you or whoever you call yourself, how can a rope be 420 just for a rope? It's fine anyway. The girl who went to Kafue today went with the rope. So we'll just bring the robes that we have today, and then tomorrow we'll bring the other robe. So I was like, no, that's not how I operate. The contract clearly says that if you lose anything, you have to bring it. And I can't agree that you bring some stuff today and then bring other stuff on another day. What if you don't come back at all? So I told them, if that robe shows up, you keep it, but for now you pay me my money for this robe that you have lost. So I contact the cousin contacts me. The cousin who I sent those screenshots to contacts me and says, apparently there's a robe missing. So she tells me, no, the bride told me to wash the robe that I wore, meaning that she wore. So I was like, the contract clearly says that you're not supposed to wash anything. You get the robes washed, laundered and everything, you return them as they are. I'll do the laundry, because these things should be handled in a specific way. So I have a specific laundry I take all my things to. So I don't know why she told that bridesmaids to wash her stuff. I don't know why. So while they hung them outside, one went missing. So that cousin of hers told me it's not a rope that's missing, it's the entire robe that's missing. So them saying it's a rope that's missing, I don't know. So I told her, you have to bring everything back. And then she goes like, fine. Fine, I don't care, I'll bring it. So I was just like, okay, cool, because for me that's business. There are certain things I can't compromise on, especially what's on my contract. You signed for a reason. Yeah. And then another thing that I forgot to fill you guys in on was, when I finished the bridesmaid's hair, I asked her to send the money because there was a balance that was left. So I asked her to send the money, and then she responds to the bridesmaids because she was on loudspeaker, but on the bridesmaid's phone while we were still together at the bridesmaids the night of their hairstyling. And then she tells me, so that means that girl also shouldn't be difficult. She's coming here tomorrow, so she'll find her money. She brings the robes anyway. That's like the following day. That was around 14 or so. So when she brings the robes, I make mention to say I didn't like how business was being handled. I found it to be very mean. Like, I found you to be a bit mean, that you didn't acknowledge my time very well. The day you stood me up, you didn't apologize for it. You got upset with me for calling your fiancé, of which I apologize. I know some people don't like that, but personally I thought it was my last resort before cancelling on her, or rather just not showing up at all on the day of the event. So I tell her that, and then she goes like, I also have a complaint, the other girl's hair didn't look good. So I tell her, did you ask the girl why her hair didn't look good? Because I explained to her why her hair didn't look like the other bridesmaid's hair. And she says, no, she didn't tell me anything. So I was like, no, she didn't sit in the dryer for long. Oh yeah, there was also that she didn't want to sit in the dryer for long. She claimed she was feeling very hot. And also she didn't want to perm her hair. And you can't do a swoop without permed hair. Other styles can work, but a swoop would be very difficult if your hair is not permed. I told her that. And then she was just like, oh, okay. So after that, I was like, no, this is not how you treat people. Please act better next time. I didn't like how I was treated. And then she was like, I'm not here to argue with you. It's fine. So she left after that. I still didn't say anything. From that time, we haven't talked. I haven't gotten back to her. We haven't said anything to each other. And also, just to add on, her bridesmaids also complained bitterly about her when we were home together, when I was doing their hair. They complained how she wasn't respecting them. She talked to them in a very rude way. Because I remember at some point, they were trying to book a yango to go back home once I was done with their hair. She kept on calling them like, hey, have you failed to book a yango? Why are you still not here? Like, commanding them. So they complained about all those things. So overall, I don't know who the problem was. If it were you, what would you do, honestly? Would you have reached out to the fiancé? Because she listed him as the next of kin on the contract. Bear in mind. Or should I just not have called anyone and just not have shown up? And also, is it right that she booked someone else on the day of and she stood me up? Because I told her I wouldn't manage for her bridesmaids, but hers was still on schedule. So I would do her makeup. When there's time, I would do her bridesmaids makeup. So was it right that she booked someone else altogether and didn't communicate with me? Please tell me. So this whole thing, I felt like she was treating me more like sub-minimal or very badly, because maybe she felt she's got this name, she's a celebrity, she can treat people however she wants. Or I don't know if that's just how she behaves generally. This booking was really the worst.